How's it going, folks? Robbie, welcome back to the channel. We're going to take a look at this 2024 Ford Mustang GT on Forza Horizon 5. This is the 7th generation of Ford's famous pony cars dating back to the mid-60s. Now, from the mid-70s until around the 90s started to roll through, the Ford Mustang cars, well, the less we talk about some of those models, the better. They were quite forgettable, but the last 20 years has been fantastic for the Mustang. Some truly great cars. Great to see the Mustang and the V8 muscle car alive and well for a new generation of car fans. For now, at least, the GT is powered by V8, and Ford have not gone down the route of a hybrid or electric route for these GT models, which is good, but sadly, I can see that day coming, and that's going to be truly heartbreaking. The most recent GT we have in game in Horizon 5 is the 2018, which is, for me personally, one of my favorite muscle cars in the game that I love to drive. I will be comparing the new model against that one as we go along a bit further on once we hit the track. First up, the styling of this newer model. It does look similar to the old one, of course. There's a lot of throwbacks to the original cars as well. Some of the new changes I don't quite like. I do not like the back end of the styling. There's too many angles in this car. They've done that to make it a little bit more aggressive. I prefer the older ones. Yep, some changes as the back. It's got a whole new front bumper, slimmer headlights, bigger wheels. Again, I quite like the old one better. I'm not too keen on the new styling, but again, it could be one of those cars that in a few years' time I look back and thinking, all right, it's grown on me, now I like it. But for now, I prefer the older ones. All right, now if we take a quick peek inside, I don't really like the styling of cars these days. There's so many touch screens. It's just, and don't get me started on the tachometer of this car. It's all digital. It is just soulless. I prefer old school dials. Now, powering this car, thank God, is a properly natural aspirated engine. This Cody V8 makes 486 horsepower in game, goes to the rear wheels through a 6-speed manual gearbox, and this is what it sounds like. That doesn't sound too bad. Now, if you did miss this car and it came out quite a while ago, now you can get one in the auction house. I had a look. There's a few dozen on there for sale. Start saving because they're $20 million each. All right, so we know a little bit about the car. Now we're going to take it to the track and find out what it's like. We're going to do some brake testing, drag racing, 1-mile sprint, top speed run, and we're also going to do a lap test. Now, like I said before, I'm going to compare this against the Mustang GT. My favorite muscle car is the 2018. So first up, let's check the braking. All right, so for the brake test, 150 Ks down to 0. The Mustang did it in 47 meters. The 18 GT did it in 47 as well, so they're exactly the same. Roughly what you expect for a muscle car of this era. Now, off the line down the drag strip, both cars are pretty quick off the line. The 24 does it 0 to 100 in 4.2. The 18 is 4.3. 0 to 161, which is 100 miles an hour, is 9.5 for the new, 9.7 for the old. Now, over the 1 mile, which we're about to pass, this is where the old car starts to take over, and it gets there a lot quicker. Just under 20 seconds it did, whereas the new car, the yellow one, did it in 20.7 when it's got more power. It is a little bit heavier, 50 or so kilos heavy, but it's got 26 more horsepower. Now, this is the interesting part with the top speed. It's all got to come down to gearing, obviously, but the yellow one, down here on the top speed run, struggled. Well, not say struggled, but it got there. 291 kilometers an hour is what the new one hits. The old car, the red one on the left, 304 kilometers an hour. Again, it's all going to come down to gearing more than likely, but the old car so far is faster. And you can get one brand new for $40,000 in the auto show, or you can spend $20 million on the one on the right, and the one on the left, the old one, far cheaper, and it's faster. And in my opinion, it looks better too. All right, now that we've got all the top speed and the drag runs out the way, we can actually find out if the new car is actually any good by taking it around a test track, which I've done in this purpose-built track I built a little while ago. Gave this car 10 laps to give it a good feel for it and learn how to get the best times possible, and then I do a final 1-lap standing start sprint, like the old Top Gear test track laps with the Stig, except I'm nowhere near as good as the Stig. Maybe the Stig after a few beers. Now, overall around here, it handles pretty good. The new car, it's got really good suspension, and it turns in really well because they did adjust some they add some of the stiffness to the chassis in the real world, and in game it does feel like it turns in really well to the corners. It's hard to tell sometimes because this track can be a bit slippery because it is in Event Lab, which the road surfaces are a little bit slippery compared to the Mexico main map you get on the roads. But this one, the back end does slide out a bit. You're going to have to constantly be adjusting your throttle to get the back end to stick. 486 horsepower. Overall, it doesn't feel too powerful. You can manage that power fairly well. You can drift it around a little bit, but a little bit of adjustments with the steering and the throttle, you're going to be able to maintain it as pretty good. As you saw in the braking from some of the other muscle cars I've tested as well around this class, it's got pretty good brakes. Now we're coming up to the slalom, which is a really good test, which I recently added this to this track a few weeks ago. This one wasn't too bad. As long as you're gentle with the throttle, you don't have a whole ton of power, you can manage it pretty well. And I am not the world's greatest driver, and I generally got through there pretty good, pretty consistently. Now we're comparing it to the 18. They are pretty much identical the way they drive. I'd say the 24 probably turns in better, but overall the 18 probably handles a little bit better. But overall, they're basically the same car. There's just a few little changes, but it's not a bad thing to drive. Not worth 20 million because, as you see, it is slower again by the old one. Again, it could all come down to gearing. That could be a bit of a problem with it, but overall, they both handle pretty much the same, but I could run them again and get the same results in reverse. So they're pretty much the same car. All right, that's it. Another tested car video done and done. The Mustang GT. Overall, it's not too bad, but if you want to pick one up in the auction house for $20 million, I'd say hold off and go buy the older 2018 model. 40 grand in the auction in the showroom. It's faster and straight line, and it's just quicker around a track. And for me personally, it looks better. So the next tested video should be up by the end of the week. That's going to be the old Morris Minor, which is a terribly fast car. Sarcasm alert. That will be next. So until then, see you later.